Welcome back to the show, beautiful people. Thank you for coming back. As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Zip Back Motivation. And I got another guest, y'all. I told you I was going to have guests this month. I was excited. I know y'all excited because it's always good to listen to the stories of someone else and just learn how they get by, what motivates them, where's their mindset at, so that you know, like, people are different. Everybody in the world is not the same, so it's good to listen to other people. Definitely remember to go to the link 101.5 Indie Radio. So that's indie1015.com. Go there. Definitely subscribe on there as well. They have a Facebook page. Go on the Facebook page and listen to the show every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I don't know why I say that every time and I get my words conjumbled every time, but that's okay. That is okay. And definitely appreciate you all for listening in and continue to stick with me through all of these podcast interviews because this is exciting, learning from other people and just getting the information and getting their information out there. Make sure that you're following all the people and you're getting invested into whatever they have going on, whether it's a book, whether it's a platform, it doesn't matter. Get connected, stay connected, and that's how you grow. So I'm going to bring my guests up now. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing this evening?
Great. May you please introduce yourself to the audience, let them know who you are and what your background is.
Absolutely. My name is Kijaun Amey. I'm from Durham, North Carolina, but I don't currently live there anymore. But that is definitely my hometown and where I love. My heart is still there. So I always give them the credit for who I am today. My background, I went to Southern High School in Durham, but after that, shortly, I went into the military. And I went into the best branch there is, the United States Air Force, and I hold that dear to my heart. So even
Right.
if y'all other branches can eat it. So anyway, United States Air Force, and during my time when I did serve, I was an in-flight refueling specialist. One of the best career I could have ever imagined having. I never even knew it was real. And the reason I say that is because of what I'm about to say. So
Right.
refueling is where you refuel planes in midair.
Hmm.
It's not on the ground. So
Okay.
it's basically it's basically like pulling up to a flying gas station. Have you ever heard of a flying J?
No.
Like the gas station, the flying J. Like it's basically like pulling up to a flying gas station.
Oh, goodness.
So that's basically what I was in the airplane who refueled other aircraft, whether it was fighters, bombers, or cargo aircraft, and we call those heavy aircraft, and even the reconnaissance planes.
Right.
Gotta give those guys credit because they do a lot of work, the reconnaissance guys. But
Right.
anyway, that's what I did. I mean, granted, growing up, even in high school, I played football and ran track. And so those are some athletic pieces of me. And
Oh,
I still to this day kind of do sports, but it's more adaptive now due to losing my eyesight in a motorcycle accident.
right. Right. Okay. We're going to definitely get into that. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced during your time in the military?
Biggest challenges? Okay, first off, the whole difference. Like it was just like a culture shock of going into the military because you gotta. They're trying to get you used to them now. It's not
Mm,
the other way around. They're not trying to get used to you. It's time for you to get used to them. And what I mean by that is boot camp. We all go through some kind of form of boot camp, and that boot camp, whether it's now it's like 6.5 weeks for some branches, 8, 10 for others, and when I went through, it was 8.
right.
So it's getting you used to basically what the military is. That's just like the basis, the foundation.
Right.
Then you go into your tech school. And I'll say the hardest part about my tech school might have been, well, two parts. The survival school, because I had
Right,
to do survival school as an air crew member. When you're flying on planes, you go through survival school,
right,
water and land survival. So the land survival was probably the harder one. You got to be outside for, I think we were outside for a week. And this was in the state of Washington, Spokane,
oh,
Washington, where we did it. And then we get basically captured. And for those who are just listening to this, I did air quotes with that. As a POW, a prisoner of war, they simulate all of these different scenarios. So that was very difficult and torturous. Um, then going into my actual job, that was difficult because of how much I had to learn. It was
right,
so fast paced. Now,
right,
I told you guys a flying gas station, basically. Well, these are a lot of moving parts, and they're moving very fast. For
right.
those of you
I
who
was
don't know,
thinking,
airplanes are
okay,
not slow.
a flying gas station, okay. Because who's going out there to, like I'm thinking gas at the pump. Like who's going out there to put like who's doing that? Like
So,
how?
so that's what it used to be. Literally, that is how it started. Where somebody used to kind of like pass a hose. You know how back in the day the planes they were open.
Right,
You could see the heads of the pilots or the people that are flying in it. Well,
right,
they used to pass a hose out, and it would drape out into the wind, and you would catch it. The other pilot from the other plane would catch it and put it into their fuel tank. They don't do that no more. I'm still inside the plane, thank God. And what I do is I walk from the cockpit to the back of my aircraft and down like two steps, and then
okay,
I get into the middle of basically literally the middle of the airplane, and I'm looking out the back of a window,
right,
and I'm controlling a what we call a boom. We call it a boom. I
okay,
control that, and that's basically where I insert the nozzle, like you would insert a nozzle into your gas tank at the gas pump. I
right.
insert the nozzle into the receptacle of the plane.
Yeah, that still sounds like a lot of work.
Listen, listen, the way I'm explaining it it sounds easy. It's not easy. I see.
It,
I was an instructor, so I had to go to school twice for it.
okay.
Once
Okay.
for my regular schooling when I first went through, and then second time was for me to learn how to be an instructor and teach it.
Oh wow. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So, how did your experience in the Air Force shape your mindset for resilience? Like, how did that resilience come about?
It's funny because that's a great question, by the way. But I actually learned that I had already been using resiliency before I joined the military. I just didn't know about the word.
Right.
What I mean by that is there were different times in my life, football. There were hard times where you're trying to make a team, you're trying not to get cut.
Right.
I had to be resilient in fighting back and making sure that I was working as hard as I could, not doing just the tryouts, but before. There was resiliency where I had to make sure I put in before I'm getting
Right.
ready to step into these tryouts and
Mm,
before I make the team. That's why I made the team every year because I put in the work during the off season. And
right.
so I was like, I didn't even know I knew about resiliency until the Air Force, or should I say the military, beat it into me. Because it was like it was like slideshows everywhere about this thing, and I'm just like, we call it death by PowerPoint, uh,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's where you sit through a bunch of PowerPoints all the time. Okay.
I'm saying that sounds like the business world a little bit when I'm involved in that's by PowerPoint. Okay.
Yep. So no, trust me, the Air Force, we're more the business side. Like that's what the Air Force is. If you think of the branches, they're more
Right.
the business side. Like the the Marines, somewhat the Army. They're like we're gonna go set everything up for y'all, and then the Navy's like, we'll watch from a distance
Right.
and make sure nobody walks up on you. And
Right.
then that's what we like. Okay, is everything set? All right, coast is clear. We'll walk in now with the suit and tie on. So that's why they don't like us because we come in last, make sure everything good. Okay, good. We'll come in now.
Like it's over with. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. What does what does resilience mean to you, and has it evolved over the years? Um, and you can share a story like of how resilience has evolved for you over the years.
Well, I mean, resilience, honestly, it does mean it's basically just like the definition. You have to be able to bounce back. But
Right.
my key to bouncing back is your mind. You have to
Mm,
first have that mindset because
hmm.
if you don't change your mindset in order to bounce back, you won't.
Right.
So most people, especially like for myself, I told you guys about the motorcycle accident that I got into, and I lost my eyesight from it. Well, that ain't the only thing I lost. When it comes to uh, my actual body parts, I mean, I have two metal plates in my head, two rods and 12 screws in my back because my spine had to be medically infused. I got rods all in both legs,
Right.
and a screw in my right foot. So there are missing pieces that were
Absolutely.
replaced by titanium rods. But guess what? I bounced back. I
Mm,
didn't just lay there, and I could have. I almost did once,
right.
but my me, Kiwan, would not let me lay there. And I
Mm,
say that because there was one time, and in my book, I'm sure we'll talk about that. I let the depression set in, and when it did sit in, that's when I knew something was getting the best of me.
absolutely.
I was not there. Like it was like somebody else came to steer this airplane. I need to take back over control of my aircraft.
Right, right. That is right. How
Mhm.
old were you? Would you mind sharing with the people how old you were when this motorcycle accident occurred?
Oh, absolutely. I was 25.
25 years old.
25 years of age. That's actually a title of one of my chapters is actually a very first one is called Deuce 5.
Mm,
Now, Deuce 5 came from high school football because that was my jersey number as well.
wow.
Crazy, right? So that was my jersey number, and that's what they called me. They called me Deuce 5. Well, I was like, well, how can I tie this to my book? Well, I was 25 when I had the accident. Bam, Deuce
Right,
5. That's my chapter.
right, right.
So yeah, I was 25 when that happened.
25 years old. That's young.
Yes,
Tell well, first tell the people what is the title of your book.
absolutely. So the title of my book is "Don't Focus on Why Me: From Motorcycle Accident to Miracle."
Right. I like that. I wanted you to tell them. I like people to tell their own stories because they make a bigger impact than what I can. So I know kind of like how you came up with that, but what made you decide like I gotta write a book?
Oh, so I'm sorry. I laughed because I ain't want no parts. Okay, I didn't
Right.
want no parts of writing a book. I didn't want no parts of becoming a motivational speaker because I don't like. I didn't used to like talking in front of people. I couldn't
Right.
stand it. Now,
Right.
being at a cookout with my family, I will talk all day long. Okay, I don't
Right.
have no problem talking to the fam. But when it comes to being in front of your peers, co-workers, associates, I don't
Mhm.
want that task. Listen, I used to be the most afraid person ever to
Right.
get in front of a group of people. And so, anyway, back to writing the book. It came about when I kept telling my story to people,
Mm.
like just one on one, just like we're talking right now. I'm
Right.
telling my story about what happened to me, how I came through the therapy, I'm overcoming what I'm doing. I'm walking around the house, and they're like, "Dude, you just went to go get some water. How did you know what that was?" And I'm
Mm.
like, "I put it there yesterday. What are you talking
They thought you was gonna say something like, "Yeah, I could just smell the water,"
I
but you
thought I
like,
had a
"I
magic
said
wand or
yesterday. What am I
something.
talking
No, no. I put that there yesterday. I brought the groceries in, and that's why I
about?"
said, you know. Anyway, but
Right.
but
Right.
the thing is, I kept telling them these stories, and they were listening with awe and
Mhm.
just amazement. And I was like, well, I mean, that's really what happened. And they were like, dude, you've got to write a book. I was like, write a what? I was like, I ain't even like English class like that in school. I'm not that guy.
Now y'all want me to write a book?
Two things. Public speaking class and English class. They want my favorite, okay?
Right. I can well see you were a military man, so that makes sense
Right.
though.
I'm like,
Right.
so two things that they asked me to do. I had no care in the world for it, but yet I
Right.
did it. Yeah,
Mm.
and still I did it. When there, as they say, and most people know this is what I'm about to say. Where there is a will, there is a way.
There's me. Yes. Yes.
And
How
so
did
I
you
wrote that book started it in October of 2020 during the
right.
pandemic because I was just bored out of my mind, first and foremost.
Absolutely. We all
You know,
were.
everything being shut down. So wrote it in October 2020 was when I started, but I published it actually the same year that I was medically retired from the military, which is June of 2021.
Wow. So
And
you haven't been out of the military that long. Okay.
say again.
You haven't been out of the military that long.
Oh no, no, I haven't. I haven't. And
Wow.
so a lot of people ask me, well, who helped you write? I said, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you can't see? So who helped you write? I said, I wrote that book myself. I ain't had no ghostwriter.
Right.
Two reasons. I didn't have the money for it.
There we go. There goes
I
one.
was just getting a social security check at that time. That's all I
Right.
was a social security check. It won't much. And then
So
secondly, I wanted to tell my story. I don't want nobody
right.
to do this for me.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. That's what it's about, telling your own story. So, first of all, I'm pretty sure people want to know now, well, how did you write this book and you cannot see? Because I
yes,
know more details. They probably like, wait a minute, she got to go back to that because he said he wrote this book. So how did this happen? Which
ab-
they probably don't know
yeah,
the sequence.
yeah. No, I can't leave that part out. So what we have in the, I guess you say the veteran side of it, the VA has this thing called a blind rehab center. So
Mm,
this came back from when I think it was World War II. A lot of vets were coming back with a lot of eye problems. So
right.
visual loss, some visual acuity damage. They either couldn't see at all or they could barely see, things like that. So they started establishing these. The BVA is what we called it. So the Blind Veterans Association
Hmm.
was established back then. I believe it's 1947, if I'm not mistaken. And
Okay.
then they shortly after would start creating blind rehab centers, which would teach people how to navigate life blind.
Right.
And so I went back and well, my first one was 2018. When in December of 2018, that was my first one where I got some teachings on how to use a blind, a white cane is what we call it, how to
Right.
navigate outdoors,
Okay.
how to remember. We call it orientation and mobility, but you remember layouts.
Mm,
So whether that's counting, whether that's okay, I'm on this floor, I'm going to this floor on the elevator. How to all these different braille, all these different things that you're supposed to learn as a visually impaired person.
right.
We're doing it, but we're doing it as a team almost. And what I
Right.
mean by that is there were not. It wasn't just me at this blind rehab center. There were other veterans
Mm,
from. I think I was sorry 20. I was 20, 27 at that time. There was a guy next door to me,
right.
92.
92.
He was in the World War.
Wow.
Yes, like
Wow.
there were people, World War vets, there were Vietnam vets, there
Right.
all these different vets that were visually impaired.
Hmm.
And I was like, I just feel like a little person right now because I hadn't experienced legitimate war. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And
I
so
got you.
it kind of shrunk me just a little bit. But they were like, no, you're still here. You're still one of us.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was just not you just weren't born during that time. And
Right.
we're glad you weren't. That's what they were saying. We're glad you weren't born during that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so anywho, we would go to you go to these blind rehab centers, and the one that taught me the computer, well,
Mm.
both of them did, but the first one I went to taught me Apple, so the MacBook Pro, and then the computer I'm talking to you on right now, I was taught by the Augusta Blind VA. So
Okay.
that's in Augusta, Georgia. The first one I went to was in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
And so the Augusta, Georgia VA, I was not even there. I wasn't even at the facility because I told you that was during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I learned
Mm-hmm.
how to use a computer during the pandemic.
By yourself.
We were doing this virtually.
That's what I said. By yourself, basically, because it was virtual, but they still weren't hands on there. By yourself.
Exactly. And
That's
who's logging onto this computer? This guy.
right.
Nobody helping me.
Right.
So I'm using what they call JAWS.
Mm.
JAWS is a accessible program for people with visual impairments on um, what do you call them? PCs.
Okay.
PCs.
Okay.
So it's I think it stands for Job Accessibility Workstations,
Gotcha.
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, that's what JAWS stands for, I believe. But you can double fact check me on that. Anywho, that's what is allowing me to, for people to hear me use the computer or for me to hear the computer. Just like you heard when we were backstage before we started talking. You
Right.
probably heard my computer talking.
Right. Right.
That's
I
what
think
that was. It was
that's
telling me what I was, fumbling over, turn
mm-hmm.
on the mic, turn on the camera, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. I think that's great. So without telling all the goodness in the book, can you give a little like summary of what the book is about and what kind of like what people can expect from reading this book?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing that I tried to put into this book was vulnerability. And the reason I say
Mm.
that is because the military does not teach you that.
Mm-mm. I'm a military brat, so I understand.
They teach you the exact opposite.
Right.
And so my goal was to not only tell my story from my side, because I had heard everybody else's point of view. I've been hearing
Right.
everybody else's story about what happened in this accident. Now it's time to
Right.
tell a story from where I was,
Mm-hmm.
from where I started to where I ended up in the hospital.
Absolutely.
And so that was really what this whole book was about. It was a talk from first person point of view of what was happening to me, what was transpiring, the therapy, the the mental anguish, like I mean everything. Everything that I was trying to overcome in this new adversity that just hit me,
Right.
and so I wanted to make it, like I say, vulnerable. I wanted to make it first person. I wanted you to be right there with me.
Right. Right.
And that's
Right.
what this book is gonna get. It's gonna make you feel like you are this person that you're
Right.
reading about. And I almost write it. This is what somebody told me, and on the reviews on Amazon say this as well. But uh, they said it's almost like he's writing personal letters to the reader.
Oh, I
And
love that.
that's basically how I wanted it to sound. I wanted you to
Right.
feel like I was writing you a letter. Now, get it. Military members, we used to communicate, or we still do when you're like deployed or in basic training, you
Right.
communicate with letters.
Right.
And so I wanted to put some different pieces. You see how I'm like throwing different pieces of my life into the book,
Right.
in different ways. So that's what I was doing. I was putting just little different pieces in there, and in different ways. And I mean, it not only felt like like letters, but I was teaching lessons as well.
Mm. Very
Because one thing that I do want to touch on that I wrote about in my book was mental therapy. And
cool.
so many times, especially in the military, we don't take that stuff serious.
Absolutely.
And that is why the freaking suicide rate is so high in the military right now.
You are correct. You
And
are
I
correct.
can't stress it enough how much that is important, and you should not feel like what people call a punk or less than if you
Mhm.
go get seen by mental therapy.
Right. Right.
Literally, I had somebody tell me, because I'm a mentor for the Air Force Wounded Warriors, I had somebody tell me who was a cop in the Air Force. He said, "Man, as soon as you step foot across that threshold of that doctor's office, they take your gun away." I said, "Who cares?
Mm,
I don't. What I don't want you to do is turn it on yourself,
absolutely.
because that has happened.
Lots of times.
I would rather them take it away from you because you went and got help than you take your own life."
Mm,
And so I speak highly of mental therapy in my book. So I hope people go read this book. I
I
really,
want them to.
because it's
Tell
not.
them the name again. Tell them the name again because we're going to ring the name out again.
Yeah, so the name of the book is Don't Focus on Why Me, From Motorcycle Accident to Miracle. And that is not, mental health is not just a problem for military, it's a worldwide problem. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I stress that highly.
Absolutely. How has your journey through the military, motorcycle, and I'm sure there's some things that happen in between. How has your journey influenced your purpose of who you are today?
Military has been tremendous. I mean, I love it. I love the military. It was awesome. The only thing that I did not like was being stuck at a desk
Hmm.
sometimes, because I like flying. I like the aspect of flying. Get me in a plane any day of the week.
Right.
If you could have said I could fly every single day and not had a penalty to it, I would have did it. But to put me behind the desk, I don't want that. I like to be doing stuff. I'm an active person, so I like to be
Right.
doing
Me
stuff.
too. Like I'm like I got to get from behind this desk. I'm
I'm not a paper pusher. If I wanted to be a paper pusher, I would. I'm sorry. I would have been personnel. Sorry, guys, but not sorry. You know. uh, but anywho, that's one thing that shaped me into being so adventurous
mm,
and just being a risk taker.
right.
I mean, ever since I started flying and doing, airfield, like my heart, the way it used to be when I got in that plane, it used to be, I mean, rolling. But now with me doing something so, uh, I don't even know the right word to use, so exciting, so enthusiastic,
Right.
like the excitement around air refueling because it's so fast, everything's so fast.
Right.
The excitement around it lowered me down. It kept me calm, and I was just like, it helped me think as well.
Right.
Move.
Right.
I felt like I was moving in slow motion.
Right. But to someone else watching you, they're like, this has got to be like, this is crazy. He's like, what is this?
Listen,
I can understand that. I can understand it a lot.
I've been on CNN. I've been on ESPN, and the reason
Mhm.
I was on ESPN doing it is because we flew the Carolina Panthers,
Oh wow.
and they did interviews with some of the guys on the Carolina Panthers team after they saw the air refueling mission. They
Right.
said, "I don't know how he does it, but he is too good. Like he is just got brain like a mind of steel.
Right.
He
You
don't
have
he
to.
doesn't flinch or nothing." And they were talking about me, and I was like,
Right.
I mean, that's just my job. I've been doing for a while now. and,
Right. Right.
and the whole time I'm up there refueling, I'm like, I hope I don't mess up.
Ah, I'm so tickled.
So they're thinking I got a brain of steel. I'm like,
Right.
I hope
And
I
you
don't
like,
mess
I
up.
hope I don't mess up. Don't-
So I'm like, I'm playing the stone cold face. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is easy.
Yeah,
And
I'll do
in my
another one.
mind, I'm like, ooh, please don't mess this up, please.
Right, right.
So yeah,
Um,
it has shaped me in more ways than one, and I mean I cannot um I couldn't be more grateful. I do have military family as well, like Navy, and my
mhm,
youngest brother he joined the Air Force I believe 2 years ago.
mhm,
But I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to have went and served and
Right.
did what I did in the military because it was tremendous.
That's awesome. I love it. Are there, so you have this book. Are there any other projects? I know that you're motivational speaking. Are there any other projects that you're working on to kind of like get yourself out there, do more of the speaking? Or are you like, okay, I'm done. I did what I was going to do?
Oh no, I'm not done. I'm just getting started.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, no. See, people don't know about me yet because I'm just getting started.
Mhm.
I have an event coming up in May that I'm hosting
Okay.
in North Carolina. It's
Okay.
my it's my annual speaking event for since my accident. Because my accident was May 5th. The event will be May 3rd of this year, 2025,
Okay.
and so that event is called Will to Overcome.
Okay. Well, give us the information about it because this podcast will come out before the event. So give us
Absolutely.
the information on it.
Yeah, so again, May 5th, 2025. I'm sorry, May 3rd, 2025, from 12 to 3 p.m. We will have different tickets. We will have
Mhm.
VIP, or what I call the Kiwi experience. And then you will have general admission tickets. And the difference between the tickets is for the VIP, they will get in first early, and they will also have some time to network, meet me, learn about new things that I got coming up. They'll get
Okay.
the dibs, and as well as a swag bag because I do
Okay.
have some merchandise that I'll be selling, but
Okay.
their ticket will already cover it. It would already
Okay.
cover the swag. So, if, and then they will also get front row seating.
Great.
All the
Okay. Great.
VIPs, all the VIPs get front row seating. The tickets for VIP are 297,
Okay.
and the general admission are 97.
Okay.
So
Great.
the place that it'll be held is La Montaña Restaurant in Carborough, North Carolina,
Okay.
and so uh, we that ticket price does include food, by the way.
Ooh.
It
I'm
doesn't.
always asking about food when we go to something. I'm like, okay, is there gonna be food?
And we ain't going to no Applebee's, okay? This ain't no
Right.
this ain't no Applebee's meal right here. We gonna eat good. We gonna eat good. It's
Good.
gonna be better than the neighborhood. Come
Right.
on now, come on. So anyway, we gonna eat good, and we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a
Okay.
great time. It's gonna be amazing. Um, and so we'll have the wait staff. They'll come out and take the orders for the VIPs first, and then the general admission get their orders taken. We'll eat for about an hour, and then I'll get up and do my thing for us.
Mhm.
And then at the end, they'll have even more time to purchase merchandise at the back
Okay.
table. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I'm very excited for you. So if people want to find you, if they want to find the book or they want to find you, maybe to book you for motivational speaking or they want to order your book, how could they do that?
Yes, so you can easily go find me and anything about me at my website, amymotivation.com. And again, that is Amy, Amey, motivation.com. And on that website, you can find all of my social media handles embedded in the system. And you
Hmm.
can find even some of my speaking, um, like videos. You can find the videos and go to that tab, and you'll find the videos for that. I even have videos of me playing the drums up there because I am a musician. Uh,
Okay.
and also, the book link is up there, the actual book that I wrote, but the book me link is up there as well. So if you want to book me for any of your speaking engagement, conferences, what have you, feel free to go in there and fill out that form. If you feel like something is just not right or you can't get a hold of me, reach out to me in my personal email because sometimes you know how websites might start acting funny. So I'll give you guys my personal Kijaun Amey at gmail.com. That's Kijaun Amey at gmail.com.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, Kiwan. So on Zip Rock Motivation, I always ask before we end, well, the first question I ask is there anything that you want to share with the audience that we did not touch on during the interview?
Honestly, I believe we covered pretty much everything so far. I hope to be, coming to somewhere near anybody that's listening or seeing this.
Right.
I'm hoping to step on numerous stages. I speak to businesses, schools, what have you, sports teams,
Okay.
churches. So if you're listening and this, you sound like this is something you want to be a part of or you want to invite me to, feel free. I mean, I don't come free,
Of course not.
but I will come.
Right. Thank you. Of course not. I have one ask on Zip Lock Motivation, and my ask is that you leave the people with something like a nugget. Maybe it's your favorite quote. Maybe it is just something to take them through the day, the night, the week, the year, something that is from you that stands out about how you made it through.
Absolutely. One thing that really keeps me going here lately, I'm sure there are some Fresh Prince of Bel Air fans. There was a quote that I heard on there from the earlier seasons of that show. And the quote that I heard, it wasn't even an Uncle Phil quote. I mean, he does some really good ones, but it wasn't even from him. It was from the young man that was playing the character Marcus Stokes. It was just a guest
Mm,
appearance. And his quote was, "My situation does not define who I am,
mm,
define who I am." So don't let somebody else put labels on you. Don't let somebody else dictate who you are, make you feel less than, make you feel like something that you're not. Let you dictate that, not them.
absolutely. Well, I thank you. I thank you for coming on the show. I thank you for just giving your time to me. And I do appreciate that so much. And hopefully, we do some more speaking events and you come back on the show and you write this other book. You're going to, you see, I'm
Oh,
making you write another book already. So,
you're not the first person to say that.
so definitely when you write this new book, you can come back on and we'll talk about that book as well. So thank you all for tuning in to Get My Motivation. Don't forget to go and follow him. Get the book. The book is on Amazon, or you can go directly to his website and you can click the links there and go ahead and follow him on all of his platforms and support, support. Y'all know I'm big on support, supporting each other, supporting people trying to make their way into the world. And if you want to book him, you can book there too because he has a book, BOOK, me there. So not just the book, but the book me there as well. So do that. Also remember to subscribe to Zip My Motivation podcast, YouTube channels, every platform, Zip My Motivation. Don't even worry about it. It's every platform, same name, Zip My Motivation. And listen in on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. 101.5. I appreciate y'all and I love y'all and thank you all for tuning in.